The knife trembled in my hand, not from nerves, but restraint. The silver glinted under the chandelier, reflecting the brittle smiles surrounding the table. Her father's voice had always grated on me, that performative warmth, that false authority. Tonight, it sounded worse. He'll be perfect for Sarah after the divorce. That word, divorce, hung in the air like a gunshot in a cathedral. I didn't look at her right away. I wanted to hear the silence first, the subtle clatter of forks pausing, the way her throat worked as she swallowed too fast. Instead, I smiled, a polite, dead smile, the kind that hides corpses beneath manicured lawns. "How nice," I said, and buttered my roll. I felt every eye on me, felt Sarah's pulse in the air between us, rapid, uneven. She knew, I knew, we just hadn't said it yet. Her laugh came a second too late, brittle and high. "Dad, that's not funny." He smiled, oblivious, or pretending to be. Dave just stared at me, the kind of man who wore confidence like a poorly fitted suit. I could almost taste the irony. My wife's lover at my dinner table. Introduced by her father? Christmas lights blinked outside the window like mocking eyes. I spread butter to the edge of the bread. Calmly, precisely. The world had already changed, and nobody realized it yet. The first sign was her perfume. Wrong brand, wrong strength. A gift, she'd said, from her colleague. I'd nodded, smiled, watched her lie without blinking. Then came the late nights, the meetings, the sudden privacy with her phone. Patterns, always patterns. People think betrayal announces itself loudly. It doesn't. It whispers. It reshapes routines quietly, like mold beneath paint. The first time I saw the name Dave flash on her screen, I dismissed it. Work, friend, nothing. The second time, my heart didn't even flinch. It just slowed. I remember lying next to her one night. She was asleep, or pretending. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. 1:13 a.m. Can't stop thinking about tonight. The message glowed for exactly 5 seconds before it faded. I stared at her face, so peaceful, so practiced, and felt something inside me go perfectly still. No anger, just stillness. I kissed her shoulder. She didn't stir. And in that silence, I decided I wouldn't confront her. Not yet. Truth, I've learned, tastes better when served cold. I began small, controlled. Phone records first. I knew her passcode, anniversary date. Too sentimental for someone planning a double life. Messages deleted, photos gone. But she'd forgotten the cloud sync. People always forget the cloud. The first photo nearly made me laugh. Dave in her office, hand on her chair. Her smile, careless, soft. The kind she hadn't worn with me in years. She thought she was careful. She wasn't. I traced his LinkedIn, his company, sales manager, divorced, predictable. A man with just enough charm to ruin a home. I started noticing him everywhere after that, in stories she told, in jokes she recycled, in the slight shimmer of guilt when I mentioned his name. I never accused. I only observed. Observation is power. She'd slip up sometimes, call me babe the way she called him in her texts. Her tone would shift mid-sentence, her eyes darting like a thief in daylight. And I'd just smile, offer her wine, ask about work. The thing about betrayal is, it needs an audience. It feeds on ignorance. Take that away, and it starts to starve. So I let her. I let her think she was winning. The results came on a Wednesday. A discreet envelope from a private investigator. Inside, photos, messages, a timeline. 2 months, 14 meetings, 3 hotels. I studied them like scripture. There was no shock, no heartbreak, just confirmation. Truth doesn't hurt when you expect it. It purifies. That night, she came home humming. Lipstick slightly smudged. Perfume too sweet. Rough day? She asked. Not really, I said. I handed her the envelope. She frowned. Opened it. Her hand froze halfway through the photos. Color drained. Breath hitched. I watched. Calmly, like a scientist observing a reaction. Where did you? I didn't answer. Just looked at her. The silence did the work. The photos fell. Her voice cracked like porcelain. It's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like, I said. And that was the moment she realized she wasn't dealing with the same man anymore. That brings us back to Christmas dinner. Her father, Dave, the perfect audience. I let them speak first, let the tension rot the air. Then, softly, so softly, it began. How nice, I said, spreading butter as if dissecting her dignity. Dave, did they mention the house is in my name? His eyes flicked to Sarah. She froze. And the prenup? I added. The room fell into stunned silence. Her mother's fork clinked against her plate. Her father cleared his throat, realizing too late that he'd become part of my theater. Sarah choked on her wine, coughed, tried to speak. Michael, please. I turned to her. Still calm, still polite. Relax, I said. I'm just making conversation. But she knew. They all did. It wasn't conversation. It was execution. Every word a blade. Every smile a scalpel. I stood, straightened my jacket, and placed the butter knife neatly beside my plate. Merry Christmas, I said, and walked out. Behind me, I heard glass shatter. A sob. A name whispered too late. I didn't go home that night. Didn't need to. Everything I owned was already mine. Everything she wanted wasn't. There's a certain peace in precision, a kind of quiet victory only the betrayed can understand. I watched the snow fall outside my hotel window, tiny flakes dissolving against the glass. The world felt balanced again. Not happy, not sad, just clean. People say revenge is about power. It isn't. It's about symmetry. She broke the illusion. I restored it. I closed my eyes, exhaled slowly, and smiled at the thought of her face when she realized the house, the money, the silence, all mine. Everything else, hers to live with, forever. Some gifts don't come wrapped. Some just leave scars shaped like closure.